Okay, so I'd just like to start by welcoming you along today to this presentation on the latest version of Sage 50 Accounts, being version 2013. My name is Liz, and it's my pleasure to spend the next 45 minutes or so taking you through the benefits of Sage 50 Accounts 2013 for you and your clients. This is a live interactive WebEx session today, so if you do think of any questions on the way through, please type them into the WebEx chat panel and I'll read them out and answer them at the end. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through the agenda. So we'll have a look at exactly what is Sage 50 Accounts. We'll have a chat about the end of life policy, just so you're aware of how that works. And then we'll look at the key features of the software. There'll be a demonstration of the improvements that we've made to the efficiency, performance and the legislation tools within the software. And then we'll move on to think about what to do after today's session. We'll also have a look at the specification, and then at the end, if you could spare 2 minutes of your time to give me some feedback, and then we'll have time at the end for your questions, which I'll do my best to answer. So what exactly is Sage 50 Accounts? Well, it is the market-leading account software that makes managing customers, suppliers and day-to-day finances so much easier. So the business world is always changing, so we adapt our software and services, so whether that's to keep up with the latest legislation or just to introduce new technology. It is standard industry practice for technology companies such as Sage to withdraw support for older versions of its software. Every year we invest in research and development to improve our software and services, and by focusing on the latest software, this allows us to utilise the latest technology and also introduce the latest legislation into our software. Older versions of our software won't run on the latest versions of Windows because they were designed before the release. And being on the latest version allows you to take advantage of developments in technology and changes to legislation. So what exactly is changing? So we're now looking at the end of life policy for version 2010 of Sage 50 Accounts. So that means that from the 1st of May 2013, you can't buy any new Sage cover contracts. From the 30th of April 2014, you can no longer renew Sage cover for 2010 version. So when your Sage cover contract comes to an end, it can't be renewed after the 30th of April 2014. All upgrade pricing for 2010 comes to an end on the 30th of April 2014 as well. So if you do want to upgrade after this date, you will be charged the full retail sales price. Alternatively, you can purchase Sage Cover Extra. And then from the 30th of April 2015, complete Sage Cover support will be withdrawn, so there will be no technical support available on version 2010 after the 30th of April 2015. We do offer a data profiling service to assist you in determining what version of the software your clients are running. So this will enable you to contact them to arrange for the relevant upgrade through your accounting partner programme. And your account manager will be able to provide further details on this. And as you know, being on the latest version of Sage 50 account software is the best way for us to help your clients to run their business effectively. And by concentrating our resources on looking forward, we can help your clients to move forward too. So what are the key features of Sage 50 Accounts 2013? Well, it's been enhanced over recent years, and those enhancements fall into 3 main categories, being efficiency, performance and legislation. So we'll look at each of these different areas in turn. So first of all, we'll look at the key efficiency features within the software. So these include the more recent developments of the My First Year, being able to customise your company launchpad, credit control functionality, bank reconciliation improvements, the introduction of the cash register, improved email functionality, changes to the month and year-end task wizard, including the ability to do the year-end lock date, the introduction of Sage Mobile, and the integration with Sage Pay, which does come at an additional fee. So now what we'll do is we'll jump into the demonstration of the efficiency features of Sage 50 Accounts 2013. Okay, so we're in the software itself now. So basically we want your clients to spend their time running their business and not balancing the books. So we have introduced lots of time-saving features into the recent versions of the software. So a quick way to set up company defaults is by using the My First Year launchpad. So if you come into the Help option in here, you've got the Customise Your Company. So this is a new development in the 2013 version of the software. So after you create a new company in the software now, you're now prompted to choose whether to open the software immediately or to customise your company settings and defaults. If your client is new to the Sage software environment, it is recommended that they take the opportunity to customise their settings and defaults to suit their particular business. So following the company setup procedure, new users can explore the defaults and configuration areas of the software at completely their own pace. So they can work through these stage by stage. They can read more information by clicking on in there, and it will take them to the relevant page within the software support document. Come out of there. It will load. My internet connection will be relatively slow at the moment because it's trying to do so many things at once. And there we go, there's our customer defaults help. And you can now click on the Setup Now button. So if the client's now happy that they know what customer defaults is all about, if they click on to Setup Now, it will go into the settings for that company and they're able to make the changes there and then. They've also got the ability to watch a short video. When they're happy that they've set it all up, they can mark it as complete and they'll get a tick box. And they just do the same all through the different navigation areas within the software. So there's help with VAT in there and budgeting as well, and the admin side of things. So the other areas that have made some improvements is the credit control area. So good credit control, as we know, improves cash flow, which is essential for the business to succeed. So although profitability is the aim, liquidity keeps the business engine running. So paying late puts strain on supplier relationships and harms future business reputation. So by using the software to monitor the money that you're owed, what you owe to others and how overdue a debt is, you should be able to reduce late payments. So this keeps money coming into the business. And a number of features in this software are used to help manage credit control. So that includes things like setting up credit controls on the customer and supplier accounts to monitor debt. So if you go into the customer record, you have your credit control tab in here. So it allows you to set limits, discount periods, the terms, the credit position, etc. in there. And exactly the same from the supplier point of view as well. And managing activities such as reminders to contact a customer when chasing debt, or create a task to generate a payment promised to your supplier. You can use the diary module for doing that as well. So you might not always have the diary module visible, but it is down here on the left hand side. You can always add it in using your chevron button as well. So you've got a few different views for your diary. You can set up new events. You can click on the link to chase your debt in there as well. You can maybe look at the monthly view and see what else you've got in there. And then chasing debt. So by identifying customers with an overdue account and recording details of communications made with them, we can manage all that from the chase debt area within the software. So these features are all in there, obviously to just help your clients along. So they might need some guidance from you initially, but then it should mean that their business has got more chance to succeed if they're keeping on top of all of these items. So in here you can look at aged balances. You can apply credit charges as well. So you can charge customers for late payment, and it takes you through a wizard of how to go about that. You can manage your write-offs and refunds through this area as well. And you can send chase letters as well. So you could select multiple clients at this point. And remember that you've got the nice option in here to sort your columns as well by the overdue. So some of the letters that you might want to look at, you've got an itemised chase letter. So you can preview that just by hovering over it. If I make that slightly bigger, it should be easier for you to see. And it actually itemises down each of the invoices that are outstanding and what the details are of them. So some nice additional features in there as well. As you'll be aware, you can generate the age debt reports, and you can use the dashboards within the software as well to see at a glance age debt and promise payments from customers. So you've got a nice promise payment column here as well, where you can mark if someone's said that they are going to pay. It makes it easier for handling disputed transactions by marking invoices as disputed as well. And as I mentioned before, you've got the ability to write off bad debt. And also there's the ability to produce forecasts on the cash flow as well from that side of things. We do have the additional software of Sage 50 forecasting, and I'm running a separate session on that, so just feel free to book onto that one as well in the same way as you booked onto this one today. So that's it from a credit control point of view. Some nice things to be aware of in there. So again, you may or may not be aware that there's been improvements to the bank reconciliation side of things. So if we jump into the bank module at the moment, if we open up our bank account, you can see all of the relevant details and the activity that's going on in there, so you can check everything's correct. And then you've got the option to reconcile. So your statement summary, obviously you want to make sure that this is accurate before you click OK, where the interest earned is going to go and any account charges that are input in there. And then you've got your bank reconciliation, so you probably advise you just to make this screen a bit bigger just to make it easier to manage. So if you need to go back and change any of these details that you just input, you can still do that in the edit button. And then you simply come down and highlight the items that you want to push or double click into them that you want to reconcile. The nice thing about the bank reconciliation now is you can save it partway through as well. So the next time you come in to the reconcile button, it will pop up with what you've saved so far as well. Another nice feature, which we'll mention again later on, is the to Excel button. So it just means every single item within that bank reconciliation will be sent out to Excel in a nice layout for you. So you can then manipulate that as required. Let's jump to away. There we go. So that's your bank reconciliation. If we close out of there just now. And then along the same lines, we also have the cash register in here. So if you've got a client that does use a cash register or a till to record receipts of cash and card payments, then this is good functionality for them to be able to use. So this type of transaction allows for the sale, supply and payment to happen all at the same time. So first of all, to use the cash register, they do need to go and set it up within the bank defaults area. So that's just under the normal settings menu and bank defaults. And you'll notice at the bottom half now we've got cash register settings. So once the cash register bank account is set up and contains transactions, just be aware that it can't be changed. And you can only have one cash register account for a company as well. So it will default to 1235 as the bank account reference for the cash register. If that's already in use, it will just use the next sequential number up from that. And a cash register sale can include details of the sale and the method of payment used. So that is cash, cheque or card, the price and the VAT, if applicable, can all be processed in that transaction as well. There's also improved email functionality throughout the software. So another time saver. The email defaults for all the customer and supplier communications now make it much easier to be able to send out letters and statements, etc. by email. So again, you're just using the customer record field in here. And if you've got an email address in there, you've got the tick box here that you want to send letter statements to this customer via email. Speeds up the process, cuts down a lot of time and a lot of cost. We know how much postage costs these days. There's also improved usability for emailing documents, so the layout and the method of doing that as well. So again, within the letters area, you'll see the email integration up here, and you've also got the email integration on the specific line. So either of them you can click on and it will generate the relevant email. I've got my email closed at the moment, so as long as you know that's able to do that for you. And also, if you've ever used the Report Designer at all, but Report Designer now offers support for common internet email services. So when you set up your email setup options within Report Designer, we offer some preset settings available for common internet email providers such as Hotmail, Gmail and Yahoo Mail. So I'll show you that once we pop into the Report Designer later on within the presentation. There's also been improvements to the month and the year-end task wizard. So if you come into the Tools menu and Period End, if we look at the month end, first of all, I'm sure most of you on here probably don't use Monthend very much. Obviously you're all accountants in practice, you probably don't even have many clients that use Monthend, or you maybe do. They're maybe very good at using Sage. But there are benefits to using Monthend now. Obviously we've got the normal kind of data integrity stuff in there, just to make sure that the data is checked and it's backed up properly. But now, when you set the month-end date, you can also set the lock date. So it used to be that there was not really much point in running a month-end because the software was so open. You could just go back and forward and enter transactions and it was all just date specific anyway. But now if you want to be a bit more structured about it, you can lock a month off once you've actually finished doing it. So you just tick that box and put in the relevant date. And then it means that you can't post any transactions before that date. Clear the turnover figures if you wish, and then you can get it to post the prepayments and accruals and the depreciation if you wish at that point, and you click onto month end. The year end, again, is very similar. Check the data and the chart of accounts for any omissions. Take a backup and archive your data in case you need to refer to it in the future. And archives can be viewed as read-only data at a later date. If you want to set up budgets, for next year based on your current year actuals or your current year budgets, then you can do that. And again, it's just making it very easy and straightforward to do that. So there might be a lot of benefit in doing that, but you don't currently do it at the moment. So again, just making it easier to make the most of the functionality that's in the software. The year-end journals date, and then again we've got the lock date functionality in here. So this is really ideal if you want to stop people from adding transactions to an accounting period that is classed as closed. So perhaps you have completed the accounts up to a certain date, generated a set of financial reports to understand the financial state of the business, and therefore you don't want changes to those accounts. So unlike closed period accounting, this feature just locks transactions before a date to stop changes. This feature is managed by access rights, so anyone who does have access rights to this feature can choose to override the blocking of transactions during the transaction entry. So this may be suitable for managers or supervisors, or obviously yourself as accountants. Otherwise, to ensure you block others from adding transactions, you just need to remove the access rights to this feature. So we'll now move on and have a look at Sage Mobile and Sage Pay, which are obviously out with of this software. So we'll just jump back to the slides. So this is Sage 50 Mobile. So if your clients have an iPhone, an iPad or a BlackBerry smartphone, they will be able to access their Sage 50 accounts on the go. So it is simple to set up using the integrated wizard, which is included within the Sage 50 accounts desktop software, and it can be aligned to multiple data sets as well. So, for example, a variety of users from field-based teams to business owners can set up read and write access levels according to their needs without requiring in-depth accounts knowledge. And again, this is just a feature that's available in 2012 or higher to be able to run this application in a live environment. So the features include, we provide you with some demo data just to get you up and running to have a play about with it. There's a dashboard in there. You can view details and transactions of customers, suppliers and bank accounts. You can view and actually create invoices, sales orders, quotes and customer records. View transactions on customers, suppliers and bank accounts. And view price lists and product details, and you can also view projects and related activities if you've got the relevant Sage 50 software for managing projects. I haven't mentioned it's free. It is completely free. It is a free app that's available. So I'll show you a few of the screens just to show you what it looks like. So as an example, if you had a client out visiting one of their customers, they could check the address that they need to go to on there. They could view the transactions, for example, with that customer before they go out. And then they can quickly see what customers owe them money and how much is overdue. So we've got nice dashboards in there as well. They can obviously see the breakdown, so if they were walking into ABS Garage Limited, they might want to have the breakdown on their phone of the different invoices that are outstanding. So they can do all that from their mobile app. At any point they can also get an overview of a business's financial position. So now we move on and have a look at Sage Pay. So this has integrated with Sage 50 accounts to save your clients time and keep their cash flowing. So once your client has paid for their Sage Pay account, to integrate Sage 50 accounts with Sage Pay, they just need to enter their Sage Pay account details into the Company Preferences window and then onto the Sage Pay tab. So Sage Pay is an online payment service. It links to their Sage software, processing online and over the phone payments, which is the motto column here. And that updates their accounts in Sage 50. So they can process card payments, they can pay. They've got a pay by card button which is available on various quotes, invoices, sales orders and supplier refund windows. You can use the software to request and process online payments. You can process web sales, so if you've got any clients that have got a web-based business, then it's a really good option for them. And downloading payments received from the SagePay account to create invoices is also possible. So they can then check that these invoices are in the software and make any changes before they update the values into the final accounts. And depending on how you want to track these sales, you can set your software to match sales to a separate customer record, or simply send all web sales to a generic customer account. And again, you'll see that a lot of the features to do with that came in version 2011. So for end of life in 2010, then it's a really good idea for your customers, if they're going to be doing internet transactions, to move on to the latest version to get access to all of this. So as I mentioned, a Pay Now button is included on some invoice, statement and letter templates. So when you email these documents, customers can then make online payments which are received on your SagePay account. So when you are ready, and you can then use the download wizard to import these payments into your software. So as part of the wizard, you can choose how you want the payments allocated to the outstanding accounts. So this all saves time, and your clients get paid faster by integrating Sage accounts with their secure card payment processing. So that's us had a look at all of the efficiency improvements that we've made to the recent versions of Sage 50 accounts. So now we'll come on and look at the key performance features within the software. So in general, we've made it much faster to process, especially if you've got clients that do lots of transactions. It's easier to use, it's got a simpler interface, and it's faster at running reports. We've also introduced some new management reports with drill down functionality, which we'll look at shortly. We've also made it easier to edit reports, for example adding in logos and watermarks, etc. We have improved the integration with Microsoft Excel, and we've also improved the backup routine. So again, I'll just jump out of this presentation and into the software. So first of all, we'll have a look at the reporting side of things. So there are some new management reports within the software. So if we just come into our financials first of all, we've got the P&L report up here. So if we click on there and just preview it, you'll see that we've got hyperlinks within here. So if we click onto any of them, you'll be able to see what that's made up of. And again, click in again and you'll get the breakdown of the nominal activity within that individual account. There are additional reports in here, so we've added in some advanced budgeting and standard budgeting reports. So one of the nice ones that people have been asking for a while is the ability to have a monthly breakdown. So you've got each of the individual months and then a total for the year. Which you can drill down on again. So you can edit any of these reports. So we've made the report designer a bit more user-friendly. We've given it an improved interface. There is a new layout, as you can see, when you first start Report Designer. And reports are easier to find in the report browser as well. You can view your favourite reports. So that was the ones that I had marked with the gold star. And you can also filter the list of reports by a report tag. And then we've made it much easier to add things like images in here as well. So if I want to add an image into a report. Click this just as an example. And then if you click on to browse, you can browse through all of your pictures until you find one that you want to actually input. So we choose my signature as an example. You can choose if you want it to drop into the header or one of these areas within the report, or you can simply just drag and drop it now as well. So it's really easy to enter a logo or an image in there. So it might save you using letter-headed paper if you maybe just had your logo input in the reports that you use and the letters that you run. So you can preview that report, and you now think it looks really silly because somebody signed it. I suppose you could use it for audit papers if you were doing it that way. Sign off all the P&L to say that you've approved it. So there's my favourite reports in there, the ones that I've got marked with yellow stars. To mark one as a favourite, so say we look at the balance sheet report for example, you simply click on to the relevant star and it will then automatically just move it into the favourites, so it's really easy to make things a favourite now. And as I mentioned before, you've got the email functionality in there as well, so it's much easier to email reports out. I've also made it much more visible in the drill down. It used to be that you had to be able to hover over something to work out whether you could drill down or not, but now I've made it much more visible by making it blue with the underline, so you can see exactly what you can break down. So if you want to look what's included in wages year to date, and then you can see those values in there. You've also got the ability to add watermarks in as well. So if you come into the File menu, you've got the watermark option in here. So you do have the choice of one of our drop downs, so confidential, draft, or something else that you want to type. Could be your watermark. And then you choose whether it's horizontal or diagonal you want to put that in at, and the transparency, or you can choose an image that you want to watermark it. So again, if you wanted to have your company logo or something in there as the watermark, then you can do that now as well. And this area that we're working in at the moment is called Dynamic Help. So this is a new introduction to make the report designer easier to use, because we guide you through some of the common tasks that you're going to be doing. So as I mentioned before, we've improved the email integration. So this is where you can set up the internet provider that you use for your email. So whether it's Outlook, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, for example, you would just work through this and it will help you set it up so that when you click on one of these reports from within the normal software, it will populate it out into your normal email program. As I mentioned before, we've also improved the export visibility to Microsoft Excel. Nominal, here we go. So say we look at our nominal ledger, for example. If you want to just get that out into Excel nice and quickly, we've got the introduction of the Excel button down the bottom here. So you can send data from certain windows, lists and grids within Sage 50 accounts to Excel. So then that allows you to edit and format the data to create the reports to suit your own individual business requirements. So it's not only everything that you can see on the Sage 50 screen, it's absolutely everything that's in the total of that window. It's not like a screenshot, it is the full data that comes over. Alternatively, from within the window you want to send to Excel, you can open the File menu in there and choose Microsoft Integration, and you can get access to it in that way as well. It's much easier to use this button down the bottom though, I hope you agree. So it's just a nice way of being able to send the data out, and then you can customise it for your own reports and maybe experiment with some different what-if scenarios in there as well. And then again, finally within the performance features that we've added in, we have significantly improved the backup routine. So as you'll be aware, a backup is a copy of the data files held within your accounting software, and we all know that backups are important should your computer or network fail, or if you encounter data corruption. So simply use a backup to replace corrupt data, saving hours of work that could have been lost. Avoid backups to your own computer, because system crashes and hard disk failures can compromise your backup security if you back up to your own computer. And keep your crucial backups off the premises. So it's important that you also advise your clients to do that as well, just to enhance the data safety in the event of obviously things like fire and flood or theft. So I'm in demo data at the moment, so I can't back up, so I'll just open up a different company data. So you're now prompted to check your data before you run a backup, if you'd like to check it now. So you can use your software's own built-in backup tool. So as you can see, it first checks the data files, and any problems with the data are brought to your attention, and some of them may be corrected at this stage as well. If you want to see your errors, you simply click on the relevant tab and you can expand it out to see the details in there. I would always advise that you'd phone support if you're unsure about running recovery tools, etc. You're better to just have a backup before phone support and then get them to help you out that way. You can also set up your software to link with your own backup tool. So if you prefer to use a third-party utility, you can set up Sage to link into that. You can back up to different devices such as CDs, and you can also include other files in the backup, such as report files or layouts as well. So you simply choose the advanced options to access that. You can also view a log of the previous backups that have been made, and to give you the ability to restore data from a backup. So company details displays the name and the location of the company data that's currently open in your software. If you have more than one company, check that the correct company name is displayed. So your file name is suggested by the software, and the format of the file name helps you identify your backups. So again, that was a big improvement that we made recently. You can change this if you prefer to use your own format. So by default, it is the company name, Sage Accounts followed by the company name, and then the time, the date and the time of the backup. And it still ends in .001 as a backup file. And then you simply browse to the location that you want to back that up to. It might seem like a small change, but I can assure you when you're searching through lots of backups, it makes it much easier if you stick with these new file name conventions. So that brings us to the end of the performance features that have been improved within the software. So now we'll have a look at the changes in legislation. So as I mentioned at the outset, one of the main benefits of moving onto the latest version of the software is to be able to keep up to date with legislation. So these are all features that makes complying with legislation easier. We've got the construction industry scheme, which is available as an additional module, so there is an additional cost to get that switched on, but it is just inbuilt within the software. We've got charities functionality in there as well. Online VAT submissions, now it has been in the software for a while, but still not a lot of people are know about it. When I go out on site and visit accountants and clients, etc., there's still quite a lot of people doing it using the HMRC's website. So I just thought I'd bring that into the presentation today just to make sure that you and your clients are making the most of that functionality to save time. And we've also introduced the flat rate VAT scheme as well in one of the more recent versions. So the construction industry scheme itself. So you may have clients that need to submit CIS returns, the scheme where contractors deduct money from subcontractors in lieu of PAYE deductions. The contractor needs to keep proper records, so Sage 50 accounts is perfect as it helps verify subcontractors with HMRC, pay subcontractors in the right way, making deductions if necessary for the 3 different subcontractor categories of gross at 0%, net standard at 20% and net higher rate at 30%. It also helps them pay deductions withheld to HMRC and give subcontractors payment and deduction statements, and these can be sent out either by post or by email. Reconcile and send monthly returns to HMRC to tell them about the payments they've made to all of their subcontractors and any deductions that they've made for them. The CIS functionality is activated with a separate serial number and activation key, which clients can buy through you as a separate registration on their account. They can then use this to activate as many companies as they need to do for CIS. So what I can do from the CIS point of view, we don't cover it in any great detail during the session today, but I do offer one-to-one demonstrations because there's quite a wee bit of setup that they need to go through, selecting the relevant nominal codes, etc. at the start. So we offer that as a separate one-to-one demonstration. So if you'd like to arrange that, just speak to your account manager. I'll be giving you out their details at the end of today's session, and I'll be able to demonstrate the CIS functionality to you and your clients directly through the web again. When it comes on to charities, the charity functionality within Sage 50 is really good. So if you do have any charity clients, it would be worthwhile them considering Sage to produce their accounts. It allows them to create and maintain various funds, so allowing funds to be tracked and analysed. They can also set up donor records and record donations. They can produce separate P&L and balance sheet reports for funds. They can use a sample gift aid declaration provided within the software. And they can also generate useful reports such as a gift aid report, a charity's balance sheet and a statement of recommended practice report. Now, I am running a separate webinar covering Sage 50 accounts for charities on Friday the 14th of June. So if you do manage any charity clients, please be sure to book on to this session. Okay, so we'll move on to the VAT side of things. So there are now 3 types of VAT scheme that are managed through Sage 50 accounts. Those are the standard VAT scheme, VAT cash accounting, and I'm sure you've guessed it, the flat rate scheme. So your choice of VAT scheme is made during the setup of the software as part of the active setup wizard, and it's stored within the company preferences. So if we just jump into the software just now, I'll show you that. So within the company preferences, you've got this big VAT tab up the back. So we'll have a look at that just now. So you'll be able to see in here, under VAT scheme, we now have the ability to operate flat rate, whether that be invoice or cash based. So the flat rate scheme percentages from the 4th of January 2011 still apply. So if I was setting this up for, say, an accountancy practice, I think their VAT rate's 14.5%. So if you choose invoice based, you get the option to put in the relevant VAT rate for the flat rate scheme in there. So to support the flat rate scheme, your software sets a nominal account to account for the difference between the VAT you charge your customers at normal rate and that you're required to pay to HMRC. The difference could be either a benefit or a cost to the business and needs to be reflected in the P&L account. This is done as part of managing your VAT when you move your VAT liability using the VAT transfer procedure in the VAT tasks window. Your software selects nominal account 4099 and names it flat rate gain or loss. If this nominal code is already in use, the next available P&L nominal code is then selected. Your software also sets up a tax code to deal with VAT that can be recovered when purchasing an asset outside the scheme. So a single expenditure, capital expenditure of more than £2,000 plus VAT of £400. Your software selects tax code T25 for this purpose and names it flat rate capital asset. If the tax code is already in use, the next available tax code is selected. So in here, this is also where you need to set up your e-submission credentials. So as I mentioned before, you can submit your VAT return directly from within the Sage 50 software. So it's a good idea to make the most of that functionality. So you do need to input your government gateway username. So if your client's going to be doing this themselves, then obviously they need to register with the government gateway for doing their VAT online, which is obviously required for everyone, but they may have been doing it through you in the past using your agent details. So in here they need to have their own government gateway and password, and then they need to confirm their contact details as well for the e-submission side of things. And then when you come up to the Manage VAT area, you should have some transactions in here. Six, it's better than none. Right, click OK. And in here, you still have the ability to adjust these values. So you've still got the nice functionality of being able to click and double click again to see the details that make up the values that are within the boxes. Again, you've got these nice 2XL buttons popping up at any point if you want something sent out to be able to analyse it in a different way. But this adjustments button, because basically when we used to do manual returns, we could, write something different on the return to what was actually calculated from Sage. And the same if you're doing it on HMRC's website. So if we click onto the adjustments button here, we can put in an adjustment. So say I have a late sale, for example. I can put in the value of that late sale, and it is that adjusted figure that will be reported. When you're happy with all of that, you just reconcile it. We want to flag them for VAT, and then you've got your VAT tasks window that appears. So again, a nice improvement in the recent versions. Being able to run the VAT transfer journal here at this point in time does it for you. Record the payment, so put in the date of when the payment was made, record the payment, and then submit the return. It's over 12 months old, so that would open up the wizard, and that would take you through to actually do that submission there and then as well. And then you'll have the status will be updated in here to be submitted, and the VAT paid and transferred in there as well. Okay, so when it comes to the specification of the software, it's important to make sure that your clients have complete support for their business with Sage Cover support and training. So Sage Cover offers a complete package of support services designed to ensure that you have the help and advice that you need when you need it. New customers do get 45 days free Sage cover support, and then it starts at only £15.50 a month to keep them fully supported. We also have Sage training, so that helps them make the most of the software so that they can make the most of their business. And we do offer a range of training options, so whatever way suits them to learn. We have classroom training, which gives them the chance to get away from their own desk and get hands-on with the software. And we do have training centres all around the UK, so there's sure to be one that suits them. We also offer self-study, so that lets them learn at their own pace when they want to, at a time that suits them. And they can choose from workbooks, online learning, or from CD-ROMs. And then they can back up their skills with our online certification as well. We also often offer custom training, so it's ideal if you want us to come out to you. So either come out to you at your practice and invite your clients in, or go out to your clients at their premises. And this is where one of our expert trainers can provide on-site training, which is completely bespoke to that business. There's also some notes on the screen at the moment about the specification in terms of the operating systems, which you can see in front of you. And all of those details are on the disc as well. So what's next following today's presentation? So please give your account manager a call on 0845 111 1111. When prompted, please enter your account number as normal. And then when you get to the options, if you take option 7, you'll be prompted to enter the extension number of your account manager. And those are on the screen just now. Otherwise, just drop them an email and they will call you back. If you have clients on older versions, I'm afraid that we can't stop our direct sales team from contacting those clients directly to encourage them to upgrade. Therefore, it is important to ask your clients to upgrade through yourselves so that you don't miss out on those revenue generating opportunities. Your account manager will work with you to see what clients require an upgrade and the associated costs with the relevant discount applied. There is also the option of them adding Sage Cover Extra, which will keep them up to date with all future versions of the software. So your account manager is able to arrange data profiling of your clients, so that gives you the insight into what clients are on what versions of the software. They'll get you quotes and they'll give you the option of the Sage Cover Extra. Please also make use of our Sage Exchange website. We've got lots of free resources on there to promote to your clients and prospects. And there's lots of branding, obviously from the accountant partner point of view as well, available on the Sage Exchange site. Again, if you need any help with that, speak to your account manager and they'll talk you through. And finally, we can arrange a free Sage seminar where your regional Sage business consultant will come and present the new version of the software to your clients, either at your practice or at your chosen venue. So again, just let us know when you call in if that's something that you would like to arrange. So that brings us to the end of today's presentation, which I hope you found beneficial. And now, in return for this free webinar, if I could just ask you to take 2 minutes of your time to complete a short poll, and then we'll go through the questions and answers.